Welcome to another podcast.
Number
11. I edit them.
Don't ask
I'm pretty sure it's
me
11.
to keep track.
Pretty sure it's 11. So we'll say this. We're gonna talk about periods. So if you're uncomfortable, you are more than welcome.
But also watch this to become less uncomfortable because that's what we want to do. We want to make this less of a taboo subject. It's so common for half the population of the world.
Yeah, because people go, shh, don't talk about it. Shh,
Yeah,
don't
mention that. They don't want to hear it. That's so gross.
My mom sometimes still yells at me when I just blatantly say something about it.
Earlier today, I said to my brother, because I am suffering with mine right now. I was just like squatting down, just heaved over, and I was like, oh, my insides are stabbing me, my bra is riding up, you're so lucky you don't have to deal with this. And he was just like... So we're here to make it seem less scary for any of you, if there's any youngins watching who want to understand it a little bit better.
You don't have to be afraid to talk about it. You don't have to keep it quiet. Because I remember at elementary and middle school and somewhat through high school, you didn't even talk to other girls about it.
No.
You never told them, oh, I'm on it, or anything like that. You never talked about what you're going through. And I think it would have been easier if you did, because when you're younger, it's almost like when you got your periods, like you should be ashamed of it.
Yeah,
it felt very shameful.
That's the thing. Like, women are shamed for having their period, even though they shouldn't, because almost every single woman gets it. Like, so not every woman will get a period. Her hormones might be different, or she might have a condition which causes her to not have it.
Or both birth control can stop periods.
Birth control can change it. Trans men usually still have to deal with periods. So a big section of the earth has to deal with them. You can't really avoid it. But yeah, in elementary school, I remember in 4th and 5th grade...
I mean, I didn't get mine till middle school.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
In 4th and 5th grade, we had this presentation where all the girls went to watch their puberty video, all the boys went to watch theirs. The boys only had one in 5th grade, though. And it was just like a video kind of like explaining like what periods are, how your body's gonna change. They gave you like little packets of like sample pads. And then we didn't really, I don't remember talking much about it in my health class in middle school. Basically, so we didn't really talk about it in elementary school because that's still pretty young. Very few people get it elementary school.
I even think it's just the culture around it.
Oh, yeah. Or teachers, I feel like at that age would be like, it's not age appropriate, even though it very much is. You're teaching them about it.
Your boobs are growing, like...
Yeah. And then come middle school, I don't think it's really talked about other than other girls being like, have you gotten it yet? Oh my god, I just got it.
Which I never had conversations with my friends about that.
I didn't either.
No one was open at it at all. It was like almost it was like you're ashamed and you kind of just like...
We were taught to like how to discreetly hide pads and stuff. Like if we just pull one out and flaunt one, everyone's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you learn how to hide it in your sleeve or something like that.
Or you have to like carry around like a purse.
But even so, I tried not to change it at school because I was scared of fire alarms happening when I was in the bathroom.
Yeah, I didn't go to the bathroom much at school. I didn't like
I tried
because I always missed a lot in class, and teachers in middle school always gave us a hard time about going to the bathroom, which should not be a thing.
No, you just get a hard time going to the bathroom in general. Like, it doesn't matter what grade you are. Even in high school, they're like, well...
You really have to go.
Yeah, be like, can't you go between classes? And you're like, I have 5 minutes. No.
Yeah. And it's like, not that it takes like 5 minutes to go to the bathroom, but like to get to class, get settled, go to the bathroom, and get back. Because
there was one teacher I had that goes, when you sit down, I expect you to be fully ready. If you had to go to the bathroom, you should have done it beforehand. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
It's like you expect every single student to go into that 3-stall bathroom at the same time.
You're like, I don't have the time to. There's just not enough time. Because if I'm going from one end to the other end...
And it's like, teachers shouldn't give kids a hard time to go to the bathroom because, one, you gotta go. And 2, if you're on your period, you don't want to bleed through everything.
Oh, you want to just...
What, buddy? You can escape.
As you guys...
I thought he was just gonna crawl out.
I would...
Leave it just a tiny bit.
We have Jax today, not Winnie.
Noisy boy. Anyways, So that's about when we started talking about it. In high school, we would start talking about it a little bit more. I really only talked about it with the people that I was really comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a thing to like hide them.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want people to know you were on your period because people would be like, "Oh, you're on your period. Watch out for the PMS. You're gonna be a bitch or whatever."
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry if we're keeping this child friendly for the kiddos to watch.
There is no child friendly content on here, but
no, but if they come across
it was just awful too, because you got stereotyped back then too, like because here's the thing, periods do influence your emotions. Your body's all over the place.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about a little bit about our experiences with them, and then we jotted down on a notepad some like common myths and like sayings that we'll like give our input on. So do you want to talk about yours first? What yours is like? What it's like going through yours?
I don't remember what grade I got it. I do know I was in middle school. So that's about the average space that, a lot of people will get them.
A few people got them in elementary school. I only knew a couple, but most were in middle school.
Yeah.
Most had it by the time they got to high school. If you... Here, I'll say this later on my turn. You can
Sure. I don't remember, but I do remember that the night... Because obviously you don't know what to... Because your body does stuff to kind of almost warn you when it's coming. It's not always correct, and sometimes you go like a full week of wasting pads because you think it's coming and then it doesn't, and then you go off of... You stop wearing pads and then it comes. But... Basically, your stomach will start twisting a little bit more, things like that. So anyways, I didn't quite know anything. I didn't really think about it. But when I woke up in the morning, I was just covered in blood, soaked to it. My pajamas were soaked. I obviously took the day off, and I think I took a few other days off because I was trying to learn how to handle it. My mom didn't understand why I wanted the days off. She was a little like huffy about it, but my dad was like, yeah, like and take the days off. And I was like very scared because my mom's like, okay, I called them out. I told them you got your period, and I was like yelling at her. I'm like, why would you do that?
Mom, that's humiliating.
Yeah, pretty much. Why would you say that to the mom? Even though now I understand why, because like it doesn't matter.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
And my dad was like coming to my fence like, Zoe, why would you say that? Because I was so upset about it. And now because my dad's a guy, he doesn't understand. Nor did I understand my mom's point of view at that moment either.
No, it's like you're brand new to it all. You don't know what to expect. Like they try to tell you what to expect, but you don't know what you're expecting.
No.
It's different for everybody.
I gotta say, when I was younger, I was a very heavy bleeder. There was times in school when I bled through my pants and stuff, which is also normal. A lot of people went through that as well. And you would just tie a sweatshirt around your waist and call it a day and go about your day. Yeah. Very normal practice. So that happened a few times. I haven't really got any of the symptoms until I got older. So while I was a heavy bleeder, and it was unpredictable, because sometimes I would get it at a certain time of month, and then it would change, and it kept constantly changing when I was younger. Because for those who don't know, your periods tend to come around the same time every month.
Yeah, your body's on a cycle, so you can kind of predict when it's coming. Personally, I have an app on my phone which helps keep track of it, because if you know me, you know I'm bad at keeping track of things. So it's super helpful, so you can look at it and it'll kind of keep track of the days in your cycle. So there'll be like your period days, and then the days in between before your next one. And it's usually around the same average, so you have like an expectancy of when it's gonna come. So that's how it's helpful to me, so I can be like, oh, it's supposed to come on this day, so I need to start like keeping an eye out for symptoms and like start preparing for it beforehand. I'm at the point now when I pretty much know when it's coming, so I don't have an app. Just because I've gotten used to my body signs at this point. Yeah, like usually the app does, like, I can feel it coming. Like, I'll be like, oh, I feel like something's coming, is it? And I'll look at it and be like, yep, it's coming. So sometimes you get the warning signs for it, because it's hard to explain, but it's just a feeling in your body where you're like,
it feels like he has enough space.
Can you not fit your chub through there? Aw. Is that too tight a fit for you?
Oh, there he goes. But yeah, so as I got older, I started feeling more symptoms. There was some people that I knew that would used to faint when they were younger on it, or be like in a lot of excruciating pain. I never got that when I was younger. I really didn't get any symptoms. It just happened, and I went about my day. But nowadays, my stomach will be a little bit more twisting. It's not quite a stomach ache, but
Ooh, bless you.
Your stomach's just like turning.
Yeah, no, I get that feeling.
I definitely do get excessive hunger the week before. So that's usually my first sign, is that I'm just nonstop hungry. I just can't stop eating, and I just sometimes I want certain things, but mostly I'm just hungry. And then my anger, like I am on my period, even like right before my period, my anger tends to be like up here, so I'll get more frustrated easier. I'll snap at things that I wouldn't have normally snapped at, things like that. And then as soon as I get my period, the anger's gone, the hunger's gone, and it's almost like I'm back to normal. But sometimes I do get cramps as well, and I need heat pads, but I still don't get too bad about that, and it usually only lasts about 3 or so days for me, my period. But that's pretty much it. Mine's not that bad compared to other people.
I know mine is worse than hers.
Yeah, Ashley does get it a bit worse than I do. I'm just lucky, in some sense, that mine's
only 3 days.
Mine's pretty, but it's 3 heavy days.
Okay.
So, you know, like I don't know if I prefer 3 heavy days or more days with lighter days. I can't tell you, because I had, when I was younger, sometimes I would have the lighter, but it's longer. I think I kind of prefer the heavier, and it's done sooner.
Yeah, just get it all in your system.
It's just, I don't know. But I gotta say, if you drink a lot, you pee a lot, and you get rid of it faster.
Yeah, it helps flush it out a little bit in our experience.
Alright, go for it, man.
Alright, mine. I didn't start like late. I think I was 14 or so. So I was one of the last ones of my friends to get it. So I was a late bloomer. But the thing is, like, it might not even come until you're like 15, 16. There's nothing to be concerned about until like you're around that age. Just talk to your doctor. They'll tell you like they can help you.
And don't be ashamed.
Let you know when you might get it. Heredity plays a part in it too. So you might match up, kind of like start around the same time as your mom. So yeah, everybody starts different. If you have any concerns, just talk to your doctor. Don't feel ashamed to. They went
talk
to
to your fellow females.
Yeah,
they may know.
Yeah,
they may know.
Especially your older ones. It can be awkward at first. You just gotta break the ice. Just get yourself into it. So yeah, I started around then. So I'm pretty sure it was 8th grade. Yeah, definitely 8th grade. And I didn't have a traumatizing start like you did.
I just woke up and it was
I think I just came home from school one day, went to the bathroom, and it was like, oh, hey, there's a little bit of blood. And that was it. I was like, good thing it's waited until I got home from school.
It looks like I came out of a horror film. And Mom's like, how did you not feel that? I'm like, well, I was sleeping. How am I supposed to know that this is what it felt like?
Yeah, the thing is, like, you don't feel... I didn't have any really bad symptoms at first. It was pretty light. See, the thing is, when you first start, you're probably not going to have a lot of, like, the symptoms. You're probably going to ease your way into it, like,
I feel like it's almost worse in the beginning because it's unpredictable, because you're just starting, so your body's, like, almost all over the place.
You don't know your patterns yet. Yeah. It's still forming. So it might, like, you might have it 1 month and not for, like, a while. It takes a bit to become regular. And I don't know how long it took for me to be regular. I feel like it wasn't too bad right off the start. But yeah, so I know mine definitely got like worse as the years went on. It's been pretty like steady and like worseness for a few years. Basically, mine usually goes. So I am also a heavy bleeder. I keep losing my train of thought.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so symptoms I usually get, so heavy bleeding. So mine lasts for about like 7 days, sometimes like 8 or 9, depending on it. But like yours, it's usually starts out like the first few days are very heavy, and then it tapers off and just drags on, and it's just like slow.
Luckily,
and like slowly goes away
when mine
over
ends,
the next
it
few.
ends. I don't need to like.
I have to keep wearing pads. And it's like, is it gonna come back? So sometimes it'll do that. Sometimes it'll be heavy and then get low, like
you
really
think you're
light,
done?
and then boom, heavy the next day. Other times it'll do that. And flow is different for everybody. So some people will bleed a lot, some won't bleed at all.
Like
they'll bleed,
the
but
first
not a
talk,
lot.
they're like, you'll bleed this much, and
like,
and
maybe
nowadays,
the first day.
looking back to when they said that, I was just like, there's no way I bleed more than that.
Maybe the first day. And if you're wondering if it hurts to bleed, the act of bleeding, it does not hurt to bleed. It just
feels weird.
It trickles out. It kind of like oozes. It's like a thick consistency.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're grossed out by blood.
It does feel weird, and you can feel it. So
you can feel it, and it's uncomfortable and sticky. It doesn't hurt, though.
No, sometimes you're at work, and you're just feeling it, and you're like talking to somebody, and you're just like...
Or girls always talk about the dreaded sneeze.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not
Or
pleasant.
at work when you bend down and it shifts everything. Mm-mm.
It's not comfortable. But you know what does hurt is the cramps and the back pain, the joint pain.
That's what I forgot. One of my other symptoms is that my left hip starts to hurt. That's it.
Yeah, I get pretty hefty cramps. I get some good ones. I had some earlier where I was just knocked out on the couch with a heating pad, and it was just like, because it was making me feel drowsy. I was tired. It hurts. Eventually, I had to take a painkiller to help it go away because I had things to do. I had to drop my car off at the shop, and I was just like walking in.
But the thing is, though, if someone goes, "What's the matter?" You can't even explain what you're feeling either, because it is a weird feeling. Like the hip stuff that I feel, you go, "Does your hip hurt?" And you're like, "Yeah, I know it's not joints, but it just like it's weird."
Yeah,
it's
probably
just
like the
feeling.
joint socket in your hip.
Well, even in general, like even what you're feeling, like how do you like actively like explain that to somebody? You can't.
See, what I describe period cramps as being is something with long nails reaching into your abdomen, grabbing your organs, and twisting them. That's how I describe it. That's what mine feel like. And I know mine aren't nearly as bad as like other people, like people with endometriosis. It's, I don't know, I honestly don't know enough about that condition, or like ovarian cysts. I think they usually go hand in hand. They can have severe like pain and severe symptoms. So shout out to all of you dealing with it, because it is a lot more common than people think it is. But yeah, so I'll get that. I'll get back pain in my lower back, some joint pain. And the intensity is different every cycle. Sometimes you get, sometimes you don't, but they're usually pretty consistent for me.
Yeah, there's nothing new that just like suddenly comes and kicks open. And
although recently I did start getting like headaches, kind of. So like some cycles, or I'll get like a kind of like weird like little tension headache like a day or two before. And then once it comes, it goes away. She mentioned earlier, some people when they first start, they would get like dizzy or faint. Sometimes I'll have like lightheaded days, or I'll be like a little bit dizzy. It's not too bad. It's manageable, but I'm just like very like airheaded and like whoa. But that can happen because one, like especially if you're like new to it or you don't like blood, that can be kind of like psychological and like fear. And also just like when you're on your period, you're losing a lot of vitamins. Like iron, you lose a lot of, and so other ones I think like potassium or calcium, I think. So keep up on your vitamins and eat your veggies.
I think that's also why your period makes you eat a lot too. It's like it's preparing for the nonsense that you're gonna go through. Because actually on your period, I just don't get hungry, right? So I'm way hungry before it, but then during it, I'm not.
Oh yeah, I go either way. Like I am super, super snacky. I always want to eat, or like I don't have the appetite. And usually when I don't have an appetite is when my stomach is just in knots. Sometimes like your stomach just really hurts and you can't even tell that it's because you're hungry, because the cramps are so overbearing. So sometimes I'll eat and I'll be like, okay, I feel a little bit better now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you lose out on those, so keep up with that. What other stuff do I get?
I think that's your biggest one.
Nausea. I get nausea sometimes because of the stomach stuff, and I just like nausea problems.
Yeah, I was going to say nausea problems usual for
Often, but that'll kind of like make me uncomfortable. I already said like drowsiness. So yeah, those are some of
definitely tiredness.
Those are some of the common ones. Sometimes neck pain. Sometimes your boobs will hurt. Sometimes they'll feel like tender to the touch. I don't usually get that though. That's a rare occasion for me. Yeah, there's tons and tons of different symptoms. Everybody experiences them differently.
Yeah.
Don't be concerned unless it's something like completely out of the blue and you think it's something to be worried about.
Yeah, can I also say that when you go to the doctors and you're saying something hurts, like, did you get your period? Are you on your period? Are you expecting your period?
Do you have a male doctor?
That's just questions in general that, and I know a lot of other females get that too. Don't be afraid to tell them, no, it is not this, it is different. I know myself. I need you to check it out. Don't let them dismiss you because that happens to a lot.
Yeah, women have a lot of struggles in the doctor where people are just like dismiss it like, oh, your period, or oh, you're a woman, so you're overreacting. And it's like, no, there's something seriously wrong. I know my body. You need to listen to me. And thank God there are some doctors out there who do take it seriously, but there are some out there who just like blow off whatever you say.
They just assume period a lot of the time. If
you're one of those people, you're awful.
Yeah. Because they just assume, they're like, it's because you're getting your period and or whatever, and you're just
it's like I've dealt with my period every month for how many years, and this one random thing that does not like.
But it also due to periods, some people don't even know. Because if a problem happens during your period, you just go, new symptom. Yeah. Not, there go my kidney stones. Like, you just...
this reminds me of what I was going to say. But yeah, also, like, the emotions changing a lot. Like, she was saying she gets easily frustrated. I know I get pretty easily frustrated. I'm very irritable, especially, like, in the beginning or, like, before it actually starts.
It's just before, not during.
Yeah. And the reason for that is because, like, obviously your hormones are changing, and so that changes how you're kind of feel emotionally and how you're going to react to things. So yeah, and that also, hormones do play a role in your hunger and your thirst and your tiredness. It's all up there in your brain, in the I studied the brain for 4 years.
All because your body's mad you're not pregnant.
And I am currently studied by the brain for 4 years, and I'm currently blanking on the part that this is
from.
I think it's the hypothalamus or the thalamus amygdala's. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm a sham. I'm a joke.
Take my degree back.
Oh God. Pry that degree from my cold dead loans. But yeah, so that's the thing. If you feel like you're being a little over emotional,
let it happen. Let it
happen. Take a step back, collect yourself, and be like, okay, just think things through. What's the matter? But we'll touch back on what we're talking about because some of these are overlaps.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like what we were just talking about. First one we wrote down is a saying of we're always on that time of the month.
It's not true. You can obviously tell when a female is getting closer to it. It's just the snappiness.
Actually, no, you cannot.
Well, with me, you can.
With you can. But unless you know that person and know their cycle, don't assume that they're mad at you or like crabby because they're on their period. People don't be like, they're just being like that. Yeah, it's their period, or just assume like, it's a period. Like,
let me tell you, that makes us angrier.
Yeah, don't discredit what somebody is feeling because they're on their period, or because you think they are. Like, they can be mad at you without being on that. Like, look at what you're doing, look what they're doing. Actually take the time and talk to that person like an adult and figure out what's wrong.
And if you
communicate.
Well, with me, you can obviously tell. It's just the things that you snap at. It's just a boil over, basically.
I don't know. Is it easy to tell when I'm getting it if I ever don't say I am? I feel like I'm a typically pretty level-headed person.
I mean, it's not Ashley that I snap at, so I don't know. And you don't snap at me.
No.
So I don't know. I just know because ours are pretty close. So I just know when I'm starting to feel mine, I know she's starting to feel hers.
Yeah, ours tend to happen around the same time. And like we said before, they're on a cycle. So you'll get it, you'll have time in between, and you'll get it. And it's not always going to be like, okay, it's going to be the 3rd of this month through the 7th or whatever. It changes based on your cycle day. Like, I think my cycle is about, like, 28 days, according to, like, the app. You can keep track of this just by keeping track yourself, just, like, on a calendar and just, like, counting and figuring out the regular pattern of it. But sometimes you will have it technically more than once in a month. Like, if you get it...
It will feel like it, yeah.
If you get it, like, the very first week of the month, and it's done, and then your next one starts at the very end of that month and overlaps in the next one. So technically you'll get it twice in a month.
My cycle used to be like that, where it was the end of the month and then would trickle into the beginning, and then it would keep doing that, so it felt like I had it twice a month.
So it's not always going to be at the beginning or at the end or in the middle. It's going to like rotate depending on your cycle length.
Yeah.
Let's see, shall we move on to the next one?
Sure.
The pain of a period is just like anything you've experienced. Oh, and the so these were pulled from sites putting their information on these myths and debunking them. They'll be in the description below.
Yeah.
So the pain is just like anything you've experienced. Do you want to start?
Do they mean like general day-to-day life type of pain?
I guess. It's hard to say. I haven't really experienced a ton of pain in general.
I feel like, because I've had stomach aches before versus, you know, turning of the stomach due to periods, I feel like it definitely feels different. I don't know if it's just because I'm older at this point and I know the difference, which I think is a big factor. Yeah. But to me, they feel different. Like, everyday pain sometimes feels more painful just because I don't know when that's going to end. Versus period pain, I think I'm more used to it. Not that it's not equal to or worse to everyday pain, but I think it's just because I'm used to it. I know how long it's going to last. It's predictable almost. So I don't know if that also has to do with it, the lack of fear, because you know what's coming, versus everyday pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you live through it every month. You know you'll survive it.
Yeah, like, versus if you, oh my god, all of a sudden, my knee's blown and, you know. Yeah. It's hard to say. It's
gonna depend on every person's experience with it too, because everybody has like even just with us, we experience pain differently in our periods. Like, mine tend to be worse than hers.
Humans.
Or sometimes mine will be okay and hers won't be.
Like, if someone pinched her with the same pressure as they pinched me, we're still going to experience that differently because of pain levels.
Yeah, pain tolerance. Everybody has a different level of pain tolerance, so everybody experiences the world differently. The thing is, like, this is getting to, like, philosophical. The world is how you experience it. Like, the world is your perception. It's how you see it, how you hear it. So, her life experience, different to mine. Even if we're seeing even if we were in the same room together our entire life, we would experience it differently.
That's just because of how you view things, your emotions. But I want to say, I can't mark it on the painful or more painful. I can just mark it on it's predictable and I know what it is and I know how long it's going to last. So I think that helps me in knowing, because I also know the symptoms and I know
I also wish that I could, like, have people who don't experience periods have, like, a simulation to
there's
how to,
some people
because
that
there are
that,
some
but I don't know how accurate those are.
Right, because there's some people that will use, like, the muscle stimulators to stimulate a cramp. Yeah. I want to use one of those on my stomach to feel how accurate it is to a cramp and to see if I can get it to match up with what I have, so I know that actually is what it's like, not just so I'm shocking somebody. Yeah. And just to be like, you're shocked, you're in pain. But I would actually want to put it on myself to see if I can if it does feel accurate.
Or worse, maybe.
And get it to the level that it matches me, and then put it on somebody and be like, this is what I feel. Yeah. That's what I want to do. So if anybody has one of those and they want to do an experiment.
Because then I want to feel what Ashley's feeling.
Yeah, even just what you feel compared to what I feel. I would.
Maybe it is the same. Maybe it's just the way we view.
Yeah, maybe hers is actually worse than mine technically is.
I doubt it. But
again, it's all perception. It's hard to hear somebody's, like, pain versus another's pain because everybody views it differently. Yeah. Okay, number 3. It's okay to dismiss our feelings when we're on our period. Your feelings are valid no matter what.
If you're crying over lost Skittles, valid.
Your hormones might be out of whack. Of course, don't just be like, oh, it's because I'm on my period. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you blow things out of proportion.
Yeah.
But
sometimes
you are still
an apology is
feeling
needed towards the person.
Yeah. It does not mean your feelings are not valid. You are still experiencing them. They are still yours. Of course, like in hindsight, you're gonna look back and be like, oh, I should apologize, or I need to.
Because here's
I
the
need
thing.
to gain I need to regain my composure a little bit better next time.
Let's say you flipped out because someone ate your Skittles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you would have been annoyed in general.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you wouldn't have flipped out, but because on your period, it's heightened.
Mm-hmm.
So instead you flipped out. So like you're still feeling the same that you would have felt beforehand. It's just a little bit extra.
And some people might feel like they want to cry more easily, like if they accidentally like drop their leftovers or something. I mean, I would probably be I would be really upset no matter what if I dropped my meal.
But the period just like adds a little something because you're already going through a lot of pain.
You're going through extremes, really.
Yeah. So you're already going through a lot of physical pain too, and then add like an inconvenience that you already would have been upset at, and then it's just worse.
Something that's odd with mine is I'm either my emotions are like all over the place, or I'm more level than usual. Like sometimes, like I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
It's the before.
It varies.
It's the before that my emotions are all over the place. Like actually during my period, I'm fine.
Yeah, towards the end of mine are fine.
It's right before you get it that I'm just whacked.
And obviously also if you're in a lot of physical pain with like cramps or backaches or joint aches or anything, you're also, I know I always am a little bit more irritable because obviously I am feeling like my insides are killing me, so I'm not going to be as pleasant. So you threw me off my thought there, dude. What was I saying? What was I saying?
Look at that look. He doesn't care.
It always looks like he's giving us a side eye. It's always like, oh, you're still here. What was I saying? Wow, you weren't listening to me.
I was.
You never listened to me.
I was listening to you, but then I also
emotions are valid.
But I also just like when like I was hearing it and then he said it and then my mind cleared. So
what did he say?
Nothing. He didn't say anything. I mean, like when he came in and then I got distracted.
Speaking to you? What'd you say, dude? Huh? What did you say to her? Anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna be more touch and go if I'm in a lot of pain because obviously I don't want to like move.
And that's for almost any person.
I think that was basically. I think I was just tying off my thought with that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the toy.
Okay, what's the next one?
Alright, the next myth is that hormones define women. So this goes along with the other one.
And the answer is no.
Yeah. Women are always pegged as the emotional ones, but men are just as emotional. I think the only difference is that it's not as easy for men to show out. Yeah. Men aren't really allowed to show expected to show emotion unless it's anger or like aggression. Yeah. And that really needs to change. Like men need to be able to I thought you were gonna hit me in the face with that. Need to be able to show men can feel emotions. Don't shame men for having emotions. Don't shame women for women for having emotions. Don't shame anybody for having emotions. Emotions are natural parts of your life, and emotions are what makes us human. They are what makes you feel. It sets us apart from robots, basically.
For anyone in the film world, you know this, because they tell you about this. But that's why female directors have a harder time getting gigs and stuff, because they say women are more emotional, they're gonna wreck it. But that's also with the audience saying that. So that's why there's not a lot of female directors for superhero films, because they're scared they're gonna wreck it.
That was also an argument for women in politics, too. Yeah.
They were more
we
emotional.
Can't have them because they're more emotional, and they'll throw a tantrum in office or something, or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, men are just as emotional.
You think I can't think clearly because I have emotions? Mm-hmm. You think my emotions run who I am?
It's like, you think I just stop thinking rationally while I'm on my period? Sure, I might if, like, anxiety or whatever kicks in. but I'm always able to regain that.
Yeah.
And a woman being on her period does not mean she cannot complete a job.
No.
You walking around, look around you, see all those women. Do you know who's on their period?
Nope.
No, you don't. They're all going about their day, whether they're doubled over in pain and just masking it and walking along. They might have a pounding headache. They might be super uncomfortable with blood everywhere. But do you know that?
I've helped customers, obviously, on my period, and I've been in pain, and they're like, I want this shoe, and I have to climb a ladder, and I'm just like, here's your shoe.
I'm like, the room's nearly spinning for me, and I'm like, I was this size, right?
Okay, what's the next one?
The next one is, you should avoid exercise while on your period.
It depends on the pain.
Do not. So the reason some people don't like to exercise, I know I get like this when I just
feels
like want to curl up
uncomfortable.
into a ball, is that it's hard to move around when you're in pain. Yeah, because you're in pain.
Your stomach's hurting. Why do you want to go run? But I have to say, maybe I should wait for them to stop. I do have to say though, exercising does help the period pain and lighten the period. For
Not
me,
all the time.
not all the time, but I find that quite a few females do say that. Along with myself.
It's been proven that if you have cramps, some light exercise will help the cramps, because like a cramp, like if you're an athlete or whoever, you just get a muscle cramp, like, you know, it's like tension. And stretching it out can help like soothe your muscles. Sometimes it doesn't work for mine, and I just have to use a heating pad. Let me tell you, heating pads are my savior.
They do help.
They
a lot.
help my cramps and my back pain or my neck pain so much. Like, I use them constantly. Hopefully that's not bad for my body, but I use them quite frequently.
I do have to say, for me personally, if I'm, walking the dogs more, or whatever, my period, along with my symptoms, tend to be lessened. Like, it's easier, but if there's a month where I'm lazy and I'm really not exercising or anything, it's definitely heavier and it definitely hits me harder.
Yeah, I mean, exercising is obviously beneficial for your health in many ways, as you probably know. But it also helps release endorphins, which helps boost your mood. It helps you feel a little bit more clear-headed. It might help your cramps, like help them get a little bit loose, help stretch out your sore joints. So exercise is just good all around, whether or not you have a period or not. Get some exercise.
Oh yeah,
go for a little walk.
Tons of females that still run around on their period.
Oh yeah, there's still there's athletes that are like 8 or 9 months pregnant, doing crazy stuff. By the way, this is very separate from periods, but pregnant people doing exercise, that is natural. But the thing is, you can't do anything that you weren't doing before you were pregnant. So if you were exercising heavily and regularly before pregnant, obviously talk to your doctor, but it should be pretty healthy for you to exercise still while pregnant. But if you did not exercise at all or rarely and you become pregnant, it's going to be too much on your body to randomly start doing heavy duty exercise while pregnant. Super huge tangent, not really relevant.
That's okay. What's the next myth?
Next myth is it should last exactly 1 week each month.
So we already talked about this. It depends on your flow. Like I said, I'm 3 days. Ashley can be about a week, is what she said. Depends.
I don't know how the longest. I think 9 days is probably the longest I've ever. I know one person in high school, poor girl. I was in a dance class with her. She came in and every day she would update us on her period. She's like, guys, it's been 11 days and it's still going. And she would come in one day and she was like, 15 days! And we're all like, oh my god, are you okay? She's okay. I'm pretty sure she's still alive. It eventually ended. I don't know if she went. Like I said, she probably talked to her doctor.
When you're
after
younger, it's more unpredictable.
Yeah. But everybody's flows are different. Sometimes you'll always have one that's only 3 days and that's it, 3 light days. Yeah. Or you'll have a very long.
This is not saying that mine can't go longer.
No,
it's just on average.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's all averages when you're on it.
Yeah.
And the last one, the best way to deal with them, or there's only one best way to deal with them, and this is referencing pads, tampons, or menstrual cups. There's a lot of debates over what people like more, and really it's just a matter of comfort.
For me personally, I only prefer pads. They're easy. I don't have to worry about losing something. Because if you don't know tampons, if you don't put them in correctly, you can quote unquote lose them. They get out of place.
They might come loose a little bit, but you're not going to be like walking, it's just going to dribble out of your pant leg.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It's not going anywhere.
That's not what I'm saying. But pads I just find more comfortable, easier to change and stuff. And I don't know, I just prefer them.
I know myself, I also prefer pads because especially with like heavy flows, like you have to like change them more frequently.
Yes,
I feel like it's just a bit easier. It's just more comfortable for me in general. I really only ever use tampons if I'm swimming while I have it. I
don't know if this is for everybody, but when you're in water, you don't bleed.
It's kind of a myth.
I personally don't.
It's because of the water pressure. I believe it's like if you're if you're just like vertical in it, it's gonna like help prevent you from bleeding that much. If you go on your side though, that can just like It all depends, and it, again, is how heavy your flow is. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. It's just the better sanitary option to wear either like a liner or like a special like absorbent like
definitely
swimsuit. Or which they make now is great. They make like absorbent like underwear and swimsuits and stuff. I think they can just get a bit pricey, but
that's the thing. Why is these things so expensive if women have no choice? It's not like we asked to have our periods.
Yeah, I know. And there's a lot of, I don't know about other places in the world, but in the U.S., I believe there are quite a few states that have a luxury tax on them.
Yeah, they're
and let me tell you, it's not a luxury having them.
You know what? I feel like a lot of females. Well, you know, if we want to protest, we'll just bleed openly, and then you can see it on our pants if you want.
Some people have done that, and the thing is, people are like, okay, do you want us to just bleed openly and just, like, get everything unsanitary? Just bleed all over your bus seat, bleed all over that church pew? What do you want from us?
Yeah, it adds up. So, like, if you're donating stuff, pads are never a bad idea. Please do.
Any homeless shelters or like family organizations or for lower income
I think
people,
it's something easily forgotten.
Pads, they are a necessity and they are hard to come by when you're homeless. Obviously, because they get pricey, but they are a necessity. And there's a lot of places around the world where they're very hard to come by. I know in I've heard, I don't know where it was a while ago that I heard this, but basically when people are on their periods in other countries that don't have like sanitary napkins and options and such, basically girls just have to sit at home on a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
Because they don't have anything to absorb it, they can't afford it down there, and so they basically just, they can't get anything done or go anywhere just because they're just gonna bleed everywhere.
It's very unfortunate, and I wish, and I'm sick of all the commercials about them too, trying to sell us their version of the pads and stuff.
Honestly, I go cheap. I just get store brand. Honestly, they're a little bit more comfortable to me than like
which
the
is
name
also
brand that's
personal preference is too.
I just do like the cheaper store brand because one, it feels a little
get
bit better to me, and oh yeah, see, this is intimidating. Guys, if you're ever, I know guys, if they're like getting them for their girlfriends or their wives or their sisters, whoever, can be super intimidated because there are a lot of options. So basically just ask the female or person you're getting
wings,
them for.
no wings.
Yeah, because there are pads with wings, which are basically the sticky things that go over the sides. Personally, I prefer them because if you do have a heavy flow, it catches a little bit more, so also less likely.
The ones without wings, they tend to shift.
Yeah, they
personally
do shift a little bit more.
They tend to shift a little bit more. I can't trust that they're gonna be in place.
Yeah. Some people don't like the wings because they're a little itchy to them, or they bother their legs because it'll be like against your like pelvic bone and like in between your legs. There's different thicknesses. There's really thick ones. For heavy bleeders like us, we need the thicker options.
Yes, absolutely.
Some are paper thin, which are fine for a lighter flow.
And there's shame in
liners. Some extra long ones, shorter ones.
I like the extra long ones for nighttime.
Oh yeah, definitely, because gross warning, spoiler alert, your blood will leak when you sleep. So sometimes it'll dribble and so save some underwear, set aside if it gets you'll get some stained underwear. Just have those be your period panties, so you don't destroy all of them. But it's just natural that they'll like leak or bleed a little bit. Perfectly natural. Just wash it off. Most of the time it'll come out.
Yeah,
depends on how dry it is.
It just sucks so much there that people are making a profit off of something that's a necessity.
Yeah, and also there needs to be much easier access to them.
If you unexpectedly get one and you're in the bathroom, it costs you money to get them, and when you get them, it's literally like nothing.
Yeah,
it's
basically
the thinnest thing that probably will last you 15 minutes if you're actually bleeding.
Yeah, like you've probably seen like pictures of them or whatever
Yeah.
if you've never been in a women's bathroom, but they're the little dispensers that you have to put a quarter in or however much it costs. I've seen it be from like
cents.
a quarter to $1
Yeah.
to $1.75. They have to put in and turn the crank and it spits one out. But also the thing is, they're often empty or broken.
Yep, that too.
And so luckily, most females, if you ask them for one and they have one, they're not going to be like, no, and like stingy. Like, they understand.
Yeah.
They'll help you out.
They'll throw you 3.
Or if they don't have one, they'll go ask somebody else
Yeah.
if they have one. Like, girls help each other out. But also, just remember, try not to be unprepared. Always carry one on you, because if it does, like, start a little unexpectedly,
That's
I always
also
keep a couple on me for either for me or if somebody else needs it.
That's for also that anyone doesn't know. I carry 1 to 2 in my bag, and I know most do.
I do. I
you
carry
never
like
know.
2 to 3 just because, like, in case I need one, in case somebody else needs one.
Mm-hmm. You just never know.
Always be prepared.
But once again, the ones in the bathroom, they're like paper thin. They feel awful.
Yeah.
They will literally last you 30 minutes, maybe.
Basically, just enough time for you to find like a better one, like find a store something.
They are expensive. Like, why should I have to pay for this crappy thing?
Yeah, like pay like however much for that one. When I think the packages that I get, the store brand ones, and I get like bigger packages that have like 24 to 36, I think.
And you go through a lot more if there's multiple females in your house too.
Oh yeah. I'm the only female in my house that has to deal with this. And so it's less for me. But I think each package of the store brand ones, the cheaper options, cost between like $3 to $5 on average. I think usually 3 to 4. Like I said, I go for the cheaper options.
Now,
some people don't like them because they need hypoallergenic or something.
That's just for Ashley. But then imagine multiple females in the house.
Yeah, multiple
then
people.
You have to get
if you
multiple
need
ones.
more, or if the brand that you usually get isn't there, so you have to get an expensive one because you can't just be like, oh, the one I want isn't here, so I'll wait. Like, if it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah,
you
you
gotta
have
stock
no
up.
choice. There's been times when the ones I want isn't there, and I have to try to find an alternative. And they're the ones I get because I think it's Maxi that I usually get. I just pay attention to the coloring. I don't even really pay attention to the name.
Yeah. There's charts on the packages too, by the way, that say like about like your like pant size and then like your flow and like.
I usually like the long ones that are thick. It makes me feel more secure.
Me too. Especially since like what we do like in school or if you're at work or whatever, you can't change it as frequently. So again, just get one that matches your needs. Find one that's comfortable.
Definitely. Any advice for the youngins that are just getting theirs? Or haven't yet?
Yeah, for the young ones, don't be scared. It's perfectly normal. It might be a little uncomfortable, it might be a little bit painful. It goes away. Don't be afraid of the pain. You might get some, you might not. It's different for every person. We keep saying that. That's really the one of the biggest takeaways from this is that it's different for everybody. There's no guarantees. Just take it. Just go with it. Figure out what works for you. Just figure out your flow. Don't be scared to talk about it. Start destigmatizing it early. Get people used to it. This
I know
is a
it's
natural
weird
thing.
to talk to your teachers, but if it's a female teacher, they're gonna understand because they've also went through it.
And males start understanding.
Yes,
That's very aggressive. But I hope there are some males out there who are watching this.
Don't ask why they need to go to the bathroom or anything like that.
No,
either.
like why are you asking myself like to go to the bathroom? You think I'm going in there to have a party? They have like trust issues with students using bathrooms.
They do.
It's like
don't be long. TikTok, and you're like,
and it's like I cannot control the speed of my bladder.
That and also changing your pad
bowels.
takes a few minutes sometimes.
And you gotta like take the old one off, wrap it up, throw it out, put the new one on.
And then sometimes when you put the new one on, it's not quite in the right place, so then you're shifting it around.
Oh
so
God,
that can
the
take
uncomfortable like. They are, so pads are uncomfortable when you first stick them on, and eventually they'll form to your body a little bit. You just gotta walk around and just break it in each time.
When you see females do squats, it's possible that they're shaping the pad.
Yeah, spoiler, sorry ladies, secret's out.
Because sometimes I'll be working and I'll just do a random squat because I'm trying to get it, like, shifted.
Also, it helps with wedgies, too.
Yeah, that too. Because I'm trying to get it shifted.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I hope there are some males out there or people who don't experience periods watching. Hopefully you learned a little bit more. Don't be afraid to ask questions either.
Yes.
Like, if you want to help understand and, like, help somebody through theirs, or you just want to know more just because you want to know more about the female body, because everybody should know about the human bodies.
We want to encourage the talk to be there more.
Yeah.
Because females are made embarrassed by it. I mean, when you get older, you give no craps, like me and Ashley.
Yeah, like I used to be so embarrassed to go in and get pads. I would try to hide them. Now I'm like, I grab them and just have them on my thigh. Like, yep, this is what I'm in here for.
You definitely get more comfortable the older you get. Like, I would stand on my roof and scream it to everybody that I'm on it. Like, I really don't care.
Yeah. Or I'll just go up to her and be like, guess what just appeared?
Yeah, Ashley would just text me and be like, time out. And
basically just update each other. Like, yep. It's time.
There's some days where I go, Ashley, just so you know, I just got my period, so I might be a little snappy. But definitely you get more used to it. But also the talk is still not there. No. Even when you're used to it, there's no like open forum for people to really go and talk to. But I want to make it more comfortable for younger kids.
Me too.
Because it's like, oh, don't talk about that in front of the boys. Blah,
the
blah, blah,
boys
blah.
can deal with it too. The boys have mothers, sisters, girlfriends.
I don't
friends
care
that are girls,
if it's disgusting.
aunts,
it's human
grandmas.
life. Get over yourself. It's also like how females can't wear tank tops or can't show their knees. It's a whole thing.
That's a whole other thing I could get.
But it sucks being a woman. Especially when you're younger and you don't quite understand it and you're trying to navigate the world.
Yeah, but basically... we hope that you take this video into a pursuit of learning about the process.
You are more than welcome to ask us questions.
Yeah,
we may not have the
open.
answer based on experience, but we'll try. If we don't know the answer, I'm sure someone else would.
And don't be afraid to talk to each other. Be part of the process of getting this to be a more open topic.
It shouldn't be shamed. You shouldn't be embarrassed. You get your periods. So
like, why are you shaming a woman for existing?
Yeah.
Like, stop that.
We didn't choose this. If we could, we'd make the men have it.
Just transfer theirs. Yeah. You know what, Johnny? You're being real annoying. Have this for a day.
Just think about this. If anyone doesn't know, you get periods because your body's mad that you're not having a baby.
Yeah, revenge. Basically, have we ever explained? We didn't explain what period blood is. Basically,
it's not
so when
dirty. It does smell different.
Yeah, so period blood, it does smell. It's going to smell different for everybody. Yes. If you want, some pads are scented. Most people don't like those ones because they can get a little irritating if you have sensitive skin. But they do get a little smelly. Don't worry about it. Don't go crazy trying to clean. It's natural. Sometimes it'll smell metallic. Other times, if it's a really, really odd smell that you're concerned about, ask your doctor. Because it could be like a sign of something. They'll look into it. But
most do smell.
Yeah,
don't be
super bad.
No, but where you can smell it doesn't mean others can.
No,
but just like you can.
Yeah, because you know it's different. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, the flow.
It's different from normal blood.
Yeah, so it's not actually just blood. So basically what period blood is when the lining of your uterus sheds because your uterus was preparing the lining for a potential baby. When that baby does not come, it sheds it down. So basically it's a combination of like, it's not a lot of blood actually at all. It has very few blood cells. It's blood, the lining, some mucus, just like discharge. So that's basically
it's just an ad.
It's like there's this like meme set out there of like this brain versus a uterus, like, look, I made you this drawing, or like no it was like, look, I decorated the wallpaper for the baby room, and the brain was like, we're not having a baby, and the uterus was like, what? And then just went, I can't take this, and just went and smashed everything, which I think is a pretty good description. It's a nice cartoon if you've seen it.
Also, it's also a different consistency. It's not thin. I guess you can call human blood thin.
Well, blood is going to be different depending on where it is. Like, blood from, like, an arm, or, like, it depends on the veins it comes from. We won't get too sciencey on this.
No.
That's pretty much as far as we'll go with that.
Yes.
But yeah, we hope you've learned something. We've we've sparked your interest. We hope you will bring this conversation into normal day life.
Yes.
Normalize it. Girls, don't be afraid.
I know that's harder
about your body.
It's easier said than done for sure. Because even when I was younger, watching other like, I don't know, YouTubers or other people just talk about it openly made me feel embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
It just, you don't need to be embarrassed.
No.
Well, not everyone. Most people understand what you are going through.
But let us know if you would like us to go further into this, if you have specific questions.
We can go into the science.
Answered.
We can talk more about the luxury tax. We can do some research for you.
Mm-hmm. So let us know if you're interested. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Yes.
Leave some comments.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Like if you enjoyed the video.
Yes.
And we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.